In December 2008, Bernie Madoff dropped a bombshell. It was all a lie, one big lie. $65 billion, zero trades. This is the story of history's greatest financial illusion and how it unraveled in a single sentence. To understand the con, you have to understand the man and how he built trust before he broke it. Bernie Madoff was once a respected figure on Wall Street. In the early 1960s, he launched Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities LLC with just $5,000. Picture it, young Bernie, fresh-faced and ambitious, making cold calls and placing trades. But here's where it gets interesting. Madoff wasn't just pretending to be legit, he was legit. For decades, he ran a bona fide brokerage business that was widely respected. He even served as the chairman of NASDAQ 3 times. While his criminal scheme simmered in the background, his legitimate trading business operated in parallel. Madoff split his operations into 2 floors, upstairs for real trades and downstairs for a vault of fake numbers. It was like a financial mullet, business in the front, Ponzi in the back. Madoff had charisma, the kind that made you feel like you were being let in on a secret. He didn't sell his fund, he let people beg to be let in. Exclusivity was the scam's secret sauce. You don't find Madoff, he finds you. It was financial Fight Club. Rule number 1, don't ask questions. His early investors thought he had some kind of Wall Street wizardry. A strategy called split strike conversion promised steady, eerily consistent returns no matter what the market did. Rich people ate it up. Being a Madoff investor wasn't just smart, it was a flex. It said, I'm rich, I am exclusive, and I don't ask too many questions. But Madoff's empire was built on a lie. He wasn't investing any of it. Instead, he pocketed the money and paid out withdrawals using funds from new investors. The entire system was powered by the financial equivalent of "trust me, bro." It was a classic Ponzi scheme. Madoff orchestrated an entire performance to keep the illusion alive. Clients got monthly statements with fake trades that looked perfect. These reports were generated using an ancient IBM AS400, a glorified dinosaur computer. But for Madoff, it was the perfect illusion generator. Despite warnings from whistleblowers like Harry Markopolos, who sounded the alarm for years, regulators failed to act. When they did investigate, Madoff handed over fake trading records and walked away with a metaphorical gold star. But in 2008, the global economy collapsed. Investors panicked and wanted their money back. Madoff didn't have it. On December 10, 2008, he invited his 2 sons into a quiet room and said, "It's all one big lie." The next day, they turned him in. The media went nuclear. Bernie Madoff became public enemy number 1. His face was on every screen. Victims emerged from every corner: celebrities, charities, banks, retirees. Some lost millions, others lost their entire life savings. The tragedy wasn't just financial, it was emotional and existential. People had trusted Madoff, they admired him. In the span of 24 hours, that trust turned to ash. In June 2009, Madoff pleaded guilty to 11 federal felonies and was sentenced to 150 years in prison. The SEC faced intense scrutiny, leading to reforms and stronger oversight. Culturally, Madoff became a symbol of a broken system. Books, interviews, and dramatizations flooded the market. Bernie Madoff died in federal prison in April 2021 at the age of 82. It was quiet, no tributes, no mourning, just a final period on a very long, crooked sentence. The story of Bernie Madoff isn't just about fraud. It's about trust and how easily a well-tailored lie can seduce even the smartest people in the room. And maybe, just maybe, the next time someone promises you the world with no risk, you'll remember the man who already sold it. One lie at a time. In the aftermath of Bernie Madoff's arrest, the world was left reeling. The ripple effects were far-reaching and devastating. Financial institutions crumbled under the weight of their losses, charities were forced to shut down, and families were left destitute. But perhaps the most profound impact was on the human psyche. Trust had been shattered, not just in financial systems but in people themselves. In the quiet town of Littleton, Connecticut, a small community bank named Oakwood Savings was one of many casualties. Founded by the same family for over a century, it had always been a pillar of trust and reliability. But when it was revealed that the bank's chairman, Henry Thompson, had invested heavily in Madoff's fund, the town's faith was shattered. Henry, once a revered figure in Littleton, became a pariah overnight. His home was vandalized with graffiti that read, "Trust is dead." The townspeople, who had entrusted their life savings to Oakwood Savings, felt betrayed and abandoned. Among them was Sarah, a young widow whose husband had left her everything he had saved over 30 years of hard work. Sarah's story became a symbol of the broader tragedy. She had always been cautious with money, living frugally and trusting only those who seemed beyond reproach. Henry Thompson was one such person. When she lost everything, Sarah's world collapsed. She sold her home and moved into a small apartment on the outskirts of town, struggling to make ends meet. But the story doesn't end there. In the shadows of Littleton, whispers began to circulate about another investment opportunity that promised stability and growth in the wake of the Madoff scandal. A new fund, managed by a charismatic young financier named David Marks, was gaining traction. He spoke of innovative strategies and foolproof risk management, much like Madoff had once done. Sarah, desperate and broken, found herself drawn to David's promises. She attended one of his seminars where he presented himself as the antithesis of Bernie Madoff, transparent, ethical, and dedicated to rebuilding trust. The room was filled with people who had lost everything in the financial collapse, all looking for a lifeline. David Marks was persuasive. He showed charts, provided detailed reports, and even offered a trial period where investors could see returns before committing fully. Sarah, along with many others, decided to take the chance. She invested what little she had left, hoping it would be enough to rebuild her life. Months passed, and David's fund seemed to deliver on its promises. Returns were steady, and Sarah began to feel a glimmer of hope. But as time went on, cracks started to appear. Withdrawals became increasingly difficult, and when Sarah finally managed to get through to the fund's office, she was met with vague excuses and delays. It wasn't long before the truth emerged. David Marks had orchestrated another Ponzi scheme, one that was smaller but no less devastating for those involved. The authorities moved in, and David was arrested. But by then, it was too late. Sarah and many others were left with nothing once again. The town of Littleton, already scarred by the Madoff scandal, now faced a new wave of despair. Trust had been broken not once but twice, and the community struggled to find a way forward. Sarah, feeling utterly betrayed, realized that the allure of easy solutions often masks deeper deceptions. In the end, the story of Bernie Madoff and David Marks is a stark reminder of the fragility of trust in a world where appearances can be so deceiving. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of blind faith and the importance of due diligence. And perhaps most poignantly, it highlights the human capacity to forgive and move forward, even in the face of repeated betrayal. If you found this story as compelling and thought-provoking as we did, don't forget to